Good morning. Happy Friday. You made it to the end of the week. We've got the picks coming up at 8:35, and there's a new sheriff in town. For the first time in over a year, a new person, not named Heather Park, leads the pick standings. Can't wait to get into it.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Hope it's going to last a long time.
Do we ever mention who's leading if you're not leading, other than during the picks?
Am I leading? Is that what that... Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah, just imagine how good you'd be if you didn't go 0 for 7 in one of the weeks.
That's what I'm saying. I spot you guys 7, and I'm still in first place. We mention every week that Heather's in first. I think it's noteworthy that there's been a changing of the guard.
Okay.
Breaking news sounder?
Let's see if I can 8:35, we'll get into this week's picks.
John hates it.
I'm so annoyed.
What's worse, losing to Heather or losing to me? Because I'm smarmy about it.
I'd rather lose to Heather.
You can win all the picks you want this year, but if on September 29th, the Tigers aren't division champions...
Yeah.
We did get a text about that. Joe in Monroe says, why would I panic? The Guardians are buried. Yeah, well, the Tigers are getting a shovel and digging them out by the day.
They've been buried since July 4.
Yeah, well, if Riley Green and Gleyber Torres and Zach McKinstry and Javi Baez would stop digging Cleveland out.
All of these were possibilities at that time when you buried them.
I'm not panicking.
Yet you still did.
I'm not panicking.
You're at a 5.
I'm nervous. We'll get to it at 8:50, end of the hour, get back into the Tigers.
Then your panic meter is 1.
You don't get to decide where my panic is.
Well, you just said you're not panicking, so it should be 1.
There's degrees of panic. That's the whole point of the meter.
As soon as you start to panic, then it raises to a 2, then a 3. You're at 5.
I would say panic is like a 10. Yeah?
Well, there's
full-blown
different
panic
levels
is 10.
of panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to be at a full-blown panic to be
and I'm
in
not.
panic.
And I'm not.
Okay.
All right. 8:50. We'll get into it. I know Tiger fans want to talk.
Foolishness.
I am foolish?
To pick and bury an opponent in July 4? I don't even know how many games were played at that time.
They're still going to win this division, John.
Okay.
Just feeling nervous. Michigan State Lions. Let's talk about all of them this weekend. An extended weekend with the Lions on Monday night. Who has the most to gain? Who has the most to lose? And we'll open up the phone lines, open discussion, work all 3 football teams in on a football Friday. Most to gain, most to lose. Michigan State, and the Lions.
This is getting tougher because of everything more at stake. My initial thought on the most to gain, and I still think I'm there, is the Detroit Lions. Because, one, the what's at stake, I think, is greater. A Super Bowl or, being the best team in the NFL.
Right, but that's not at stake this weekend.
No, but everybody's thoughts of their chances of, because whether it's the Bills or it's the Ravens, like those are the 2 teams that we picked to be in the Super Bowl to face whoever comes out of the NFC. And if you can down them on their turf in week 3 after having put together a horrific performance against Green Bay in week 1 on the road, now all of a sudden you go to a very similar situation. Now we're going to get a chance to compare apples to apples. And if you go to Baltimore, who we all think Lamar Jackson is greater than Jordan Love.
Yes.
We think Derrick Henry is better than anything that Green Bay is going to have coming out of the backfield.
Right, but I look at it a little differently. Like, the Lions are expected to lose this game. That doesn't mean they're conceding it, but I think the expectation from the fans is that they will lose. And it doesn't mean it's season-defining. There's no Aleem McNeil. The young offensive line is still in game number 3. We expect them to be... Sure. I think the Lions have very little to lose, and they can gain some, but I don't think they have the most to gain.
Ooh,
I think both the college teams have more to gain.
So if you beat Nebraska...
It's a first marquee road win of the Bryce Underwood era. It positions you to still make the college football playoff.
Yeah, but there's questions as to what is Nebraska? Are they really going to be any good? I know, okay, Matt Rule in year 3, all right? He takes his teams from 4 wins to 7 wins to 11 wins. He did it at Baylor. He did it at Temple. But I don't know that's the expectations for Nebraska.
I think the team with the most to gain is MSU, and I'm going to judge it based on what people have texted in all week. They want to leave him in Pasadena. They want Jonathan Smith to stay out in California when they lose by 1,000 points at 2 a.m.
So Jonathan Smith has the most to gain.
Yes.
I don't necessarily know that it's Michigan State has the most to gain.
They are synonymous. He is the program. As he goes, the program will go. You are not trying to reset this. Childs in a homecoming spot, playing well, no turnovers, right? Go out there and outduel the Trojans. There's a lot to be gained for Jonathan Smith. People want him fired at 3-0. They could be a 4-0 football team if they win this game. How differently do we talk about MSU? If they go out while everybody's asleep, head on the pillow, they wake up on Sunday and they see Childs threw for 4 touchdowns and they won the game. There's way more to be gained for them than if the Lions beat the Ravens or if Michigan beats Nebraska.
I just look at what's the level of the opponent. We don't really know how good USC is or isn't. We don't know how good Nebraska is or isn't. We know how good Baltimore is. And if you beat one of the better teams in the NFL, and it could be no matter what power surge or power ranking you look at, they're a top 3 team. No one puts USC in the top 10.
They are ranked now, right? There's a number next to their name.
There is.
They're undefeated.
Sorry, Greg. I don't mean to disparage your...
I was say Greg Palm had
Greg
USC
Palm.
in the top 12.
9th.
Sorry, I just threw Greg under the bus.
But the flip side of this question, too, John, is who has the most to lose?
Yeah.
Who has the most to lose?
Maybe it depends on how you lose.
Well, okay, that's the obvious part of all this. If the Lions lose the way they did in October of 23, where it's like 38-6 or something.
Yeah.
Oof. MSU, everybody expects to get bombed. I don't know that they... To me, it's Michigan. You're walking a much tighter rope in college football.
Yeah.
They're the ones who would then have a second loss before October. I think they have the most to lose. It would take all the optimism of Bryce and, once again, put a lid on it for a week. They have the most to lose.
I think I'll agree with that. With the performance that they had last week and with what Biff said to us earlier this week, or said to me and shared with you, that the full complement of the playbook is there.
So if the narrative is true that they were just holding everything back and now they're going to completely open it up, and he goes on the road, Underwood, and performs somewhat similar to last week, it's a game changer, and it makes Michigan a playoff contender. For sure. I think if Michigan loses this game, they will not make the playoff.
Oh, yeah. I
Agreed.
I don't think any of us thought that they were a playoff team.
No.
The expectation is playoffs, but I don't think any of us put them in the playoffs.
But this is one of those games that does swing one way or another.
I mean, look,
you would know.
Oh,
I don't think he is.
Swinger game.
I don't think he is
a lot of swapping going down
but
there.
if Bryce Underwood all of a sudden becomes a super freshman quarterback, not impossible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if he does, it's a true game changer.
Yeah.
I would say I'm going to say the Lions because I think if they won this game, it shuts up a lot of narratives about windows being shut.
Yeah.
But it also puts, I think, 13 wins on the table. And then that means you become division champ, maybe bye. It opens up a lot of doors easier for them.
Does it undo the Green Bay game?
I don't think anything's going to undo the Green Bay game until they play Green Bay.
Yeah. So then I wonder how much you can gain. Like, we already view the Lions as one of the...
Okay, so if this happens and the Packers continue... beating the Browns this weekend.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's going to be a kind of a common occurrence this year. But then you've got to I'll have to reconfigure a lot in my power surge because the Packers will always remain above the Lions. Well, not always, but for the foreseeable future, remain above the Lions because of what they did to the Lions. But if Detroit goes and wins in Baltimore, it does put on the table 13 wins or more.
All right, guys, all the games are on the table. Every fan base is invited to the party. Michigan, Michigan State, and the Lions. Who has the most to gain? Who has the most to lose? It's 97-1.